Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. It's another paid request, this time for DVB. Thank you so much for that. If anyone wants to request any type of videos, topic, reaction, commentary, review, re-review, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Could be for pretty much any type of video. I'll get to as soon as I can. And this is for Exit Through the Gift Shop, a 2010 documentary, which I gotta say first off, that title sucks. That's a terrible, dumb title. Exit Through the Gift Shop. It doesn't tell you anything about what the movie's about. Because what the movie's about is this French immigrant who lives in Los Angeles, which I forget if he owned a clothing business or furniture business. I think one of those. He's got a wife, he's got kids. He loves filming everything. Just no matter what, he loves filming everything, and then he gets intrigued by street art. And he starts following street artists. One of his cousins is a guy named Invader. He does his street art of Space Invaders and other stuff that will put around the city, among other places. That leads him to other people, this guy named Shepard Fairey, and then this more famous street artist called Banksy, which I guess his film technically was directed, as in it got done because of him. This elusive street artist who doesn't show his identity. He talks on camera, but his face is covered, his voice is altered, and as he puts it, the guy tried to make a documentary about me and others, but it became about him. And that's really the case of this. What does Exit Through the Gift Shop really tell you about that story? It doesn't. So you read that title and you go, gift shop doesn't really sound exciting. Okay, goodbye. So, terrible title. And I know that there's been taught that this is a fake documentary. Some people say it was this guy, Banksy, because he's such a wild, out there street artist that this is the ultimate art he did, is making this fake biography or fake, that all this is made up, that is too good to be true. But Banksy and others deny it. Granted, it's not like this made such a huge big splash that keeping up the facade would really matter, because I guarantee most people watch this have never even heard of this. It's not like, I'm trying to think like more popular documentaries. I would say even like Grizzly Man and the Roger Moore, Roger, was it? Think of James Bond. I'm trying to think of why can't I think of that guy's name? The guy who made Michael Moore, I think I'm thinking of. Because I was thinking of his one, Roger and Me. He did Bowling for Columbine. Yeah, I think it's Michael Moore. If it was Roger Moore, it'd be a different person. It'd be a whole different thing. I'm trying to think of what other... but even Metallica, Some Kind of Monster. Like, those, I think, are even more popular compared to this. So, if it's all facade, then okay, it's... to me, it was all for naught. But one interesting thing about this, which I didn't mind the documentary, I didn't love it, but I didn't mind it, was seeing all the cool street art that people did. Whether it be, again, the Invader guy, having Space Invader stuff on walls and corners of the streets. This one guy, Banksy, this very unique art where in London he would have like art of cops kissing, which is a shot where there's like a cop sitting on a bench and right behind him is two cops kissing in art. The Pulp Fiction guys holding guns, but instead they're bananas. Designated riot area is painted in an area. Later on, he has like a bent phone booth, because he'll do more elaborate ones where he makes a bent phone booth. They're able to use a truck to carry it and dump it somewhere so people could see it. Probably the best one was with Disney, where This guy Terry shows him around L.A. because this guy Banksy doesn't know anyone. The guy he was supposed to couldn't get in to the country. So more and more Banksy starts to trust this guy. And okay, we're going to do something at Disneyland. It's around the anniversary of 9/11. So he pumps a Guantanamo Bay prisoner, like someone in an orange prisoner with like a mask on. He pumps it up. He slides it and puts it right by like this roller coaster while Terry's filming the whole time, and you see that the roller coaster stops and there's people coming, and apparently Terry got questions, but which I thought was really weird that he said this. Unless it shows just how dumb the people security at Disneyland are, which that could very well be the case, where he's like, oh sure, there's nothing on there. See, there's nothing on there. So he took it, and then he deleted it. But I'm sitting there going, why wouldn't the guy see all this, that you're deleting stuff, and how would the guy not notice that? I mean, it shows, if that's the case, it shows how dumb their security is. But that he had hidden a tape in his sock, and because he deleted the evidence, then they have no evidence. And also, why would you let the guy pick up his own camera? Why wouldn't you pick up the camera? No, you don't touch it. I'll touch it. So it's probably stuff like that that makes people think this is all fake. Do I think it's all fake? I don't know. I don't really care one way or the other. Like I said, watching the street art was definitely the most interesting part of it. This guy, Shepard Fairey, he got famous because he would do Andre the Giant art and alter it and then put Obey and plaster that around. Another interesting bit is when Banksy showed this guy Terry London. He's showing this bit where I guess the guy forged like £1 million, but then realized, well, if they catch you with this, then it's forgery. Like, that's heavy jail time. So it's like, I don't know what to do with this. I guess he had given it to some people and they spent it and they didn't realize it was fake money. So I thought like that was kind of funny. I like that scene. The Disneyland part, I thought that was kind of a funny scene. Although again, there's some stuff that I question about it. Banksy does an art show. There's a bit with an elephant that's covered with face paint, which got a lot of news coverage. And then immediately, Terry is like, maybe I could do this. And then starts doing it. And I'll be honest, that's kind of where the interest lessened for me. It seemed like this rush of, okay, I'm going to do this, and I plaster this stuff, and then you think there'd be a lot more of his home life. There's a little bit of his wife talking, just saying, I just want to make sure he comes home safe, but I'm sitting there going, he's taking all this time to do this. His business flourished. Oh, then he sold his business, but I'm like, there's nothing with the wife about, which I guess you would think Terry didn't film this stuff, with his wife complaining about this and going, what the hell are you doing, and this is all our money, and what if it goes belly up and everything, which is something that with a documentary you would edit it. But again, if Terry filmed all this, but the thing about him is that he didn't watch it, he didn't want to edit it, he just liked filming it. So really, it made it seem like Terry started to edit it, but I guess he stopped, gave up, and then Banksy, I kind of wish we heard a little bit more of that about why Banksy decided to edit it himself. Because you would think, because what happens is, Terry creates this character, Mr. Brainwash, opens his gallery, which usually you're supposed to take years and years of building up your street cred and spend time perfecting your craft, where he just jumped in, had a big old hype machine, and sold nearly $1 million worth of stuff. Cashed in on ripping others off. And you would think that some of these guys like Banksy, like Shepard Fairey, I mean, you tell they're not happy about it, but they're sugarcoating it, and I don't know why you were sugarcoated. Just be flat out honest. And I think I would have liked it more if they were more brutal. Also, like, if Banksy is editing this documentary, why would he want to show all of this Mr. Brainwash stuff? It's like, well, I don't want this out there because this guy is a fraud, or this guy is a fake, or this guy. But I don't know. Maybe he still likes the Terry guy. Maybe. Like, for Banksy, do you still consider this Terry guy your friend, even though he did this? Because I guess technically he didn't do anything to hurt those guys. But then Banksy says, I used to tell people to go ahead and create whatever art you want, and I don't really do that anymore. See, maybe it's, I wish we dived more deeply as to what Banksy and Shepard Fairey, these guys, don't like about Mr. Brainwash Terry. What they don't like about it. Like, they say they don't like it, but to really delve deeper as to between what they do and what he did. And I think they could have really flourished that and fleshed that out much more so. And since Terry, he's kind of a offbeat character, he doesn't give as much insight as he thinks he does. Maybe because of his French, maybe because he's not 100% on the English language. But like I say, it would have been nice to hear more about his family, how they feel, his kids, about how he's not paying attention much, it seems, to his kids, or again how maybe other street artists and I don't. Oh yeah, and then by the end you find out that Terry actually did a cover album of one of Madonna's CDs. Now I don't know. This is 2010. I don't know what's happened since then. I guess he's continuing to work and make money off this. So, of course, you looked at the art. I'm like, well, the art is kind of seems similar to what the street artists do. There are times where I can't really see much of a difference. Like Terry has this thing with Elvis and has a machine gun. I mean, that's the same as the Andre the Giant with Obey. You took an Andre the Giant photo and you put Obey on it, alter a few colors, and there you go. So, I mean, how is that so wildly different from what Terry is doing? And that's what I wish we got more insight from Shepard Fairey and Banksy about, the difference between what you do and what the meaning that you're doing this and why you're doing this and what makes you motivate. And that's the thing, we never really get to know much about Banksy because he wants to keep very hidden. You don't even get to know much about Shepard Fairey or even his cousin Invader, because obviously what they do, there's a lot of illegal activity, but even with their public galleries, at least Banksy's, because he wants to be very hidden, you don't really get to know much, and because of that you don't get much insight. Thus you don't have a whole lot of discussion. And again, maybe they like Terry, so they don't want to be as honest or as brutal, which I think would have made it much more clearer, much more interesting in the third act of this. But I mean, yeah, I guess he cashed in on ripping others off, and that's the thing. Like, he didn't, like, he has ideas, but he gets other people to make this stuff, which then makes me wonder, well, how does that work? Where if they made it, don't they get a cut of it? Or did they sign some contract where I'll pay you something and then that's it? You don't get any residuals. I guess that's not a thing in the art world. Does I mean, in the movie world, like if you do a movie and then when it went to cable, VHS, like you did residuals, I guess that's not a thing in the art world. Okay. So yeah, it leaves some questions for me. Halfway through to the third, I was losing a bit of interest, to be honest, because then Terry's very off guy, but that he'll talk, but he seems like he talks with just he thinks he's smarter than he is. But at the same time, he's got to have either he got completely lucky, right place, right time, because he cashed in and he made a lot of money. So there you go. Which is why I would be surprised that Banksy would see that and be like, "Yeah, let's edit a documentary." If it's like, "Hey, let me have my footage." Okay, I'll take my footage and I'll edit just my footage, and here's the stuff about what I do, just a series of stuff that I do. I was saying, why would Banksy take the time to tell this guy's story if then at the end goes, well, I don't really tell people to anymore to flourish their art creativity. Like you tell people not to do that, but then you edit a documentary where the guy you don't want people to copy, you're showcasing him in a spotlight. And again, if you just wanted your art footage, I'm sure Terry would have been like, okay, here's your art footage since I'm not going to do anything with it, and I got my gallery. You know what I mean? But because we don't get much insight to Banksy, that's what leads me to these questions. Again, if you don't like this, well, he doesn't say he doesn't like the guy, but if you don't like what he's done, why are you spotlighting the stuff that you don't like that he's done? And again, if you want your footage, just get your footage and you have someone narrate it or something. The works of Banksy or the time of life of Banksy or something. So that's where I get a bit confused on things. Maybe that's just me though. If it is, if it is. But was it a bad time watching it? No. Like I said, the artwork was nice to look at. And honestly, that was my favorite part of it, is when Terry was following these guys at nighttime and they're secretly putting the stuff up. And again, the bit in Disneyland with the pumping up the fake prisoner, the $1,000,000 that he made, and then he doesn't know what to do the rest of it. Like, that stuff was more interesting. So I just really like the least interesting part was Terry the subject. Like he was somewhat interesting at first, and like in the third act it was okay, but again, the other people's art and their secretive lifestyle, I guess I was more intrigued by. Wow, this guy is more like an eccentric goofball, but that's probably the appeal for other people. But again, that's just me. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.